Making your own PVC fittings is really easy, especially if you're going to make a straight coupling. So to do that, take one piece of the pipe that you're going to make it in. This is 1 inch thick wall, and this is another piece of 1 inch thick wall, about the same length. This is going to be your form pipe. Now I've taken this and I've smoothed it down so it kind of comes with a little bit of a point here. That makes it easier to fit inside of this. And the way we do this is we can take a heat gun. This can be gotten for about $10, $15 at Harbor Freight, or you can buy a more expensive one at Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever. So then you set it on the high setting, where it puts out the most heat, and then you point at the end of your pipe like this. You need to keep it moving at all times, because if you stop and set still for even a few seconds, it'll burn the end of the pipe. What you're trying to do is gently soften the pipe without actually melting it or burning it. Now you do this will take about a minute, 30 seconds to a minute, depending on the size and thickness of the pipe. You might want to wear gloves for this because it gets kind of hot where my left hand is. And then gradually, when you see it start to turn color just a little bit on the end, start to yellow just a tad, you're going to take it and you're going to start pressing on the table like this. See, it's already starting to show a little bit of softness, but you need to be really floppy before you start trying to push the other pipe in there. Better. And now usually you want to turn about a 45-degree angle and rotate it like this. This way you get more heat down the pipe rather than just on the very end. And you see the end of the pipe turning just the slightest bit yellow about now. Keep it moving, and that will never burn and will never cause any problems. And that's how you know it's getting warm enough. And then go back to the end one last time, touch the table. Now see how soft that is. That's about ready to do. You always want to have your last heat go on the end of the pipe because that's what needs to be the softest. Now turn that off, and take your form pipe, hold it about a 45-degree angle, and twist both pipes, and then gradually straighten them out. Now you can see now we have about a 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch on there. Now I can tap it in a little bit with my hand and work it back and forth like this. And we have about 1 inch on here. And that's more than you'd get out of a regular coupling. But you can extend this easily and get a couple of inches out of it by taking it out, now that it's been stretched, and reheating it. It won't take very long to heat it the second time. So just move your heat gun back and forth like this, doing a little bit more of the pipe this time. But again, make sure you concentrate a lot of heat on the end right before you start stretching the pipe again. So right like this. And as long as you always keep it moving, it'll never turn black and never start to burn and show any bubbles or anything like that. Okay? Now the second time you put it in here like this, it's usually a lot easier to work with. And then just work it back and forth. This is easy if you're doing it on a vise or on something stable so you can push against it. But I'm doing this so you can do it out in the ditch or out in the field or wherever you happen to be at the time. Just keep working it back and forth like that. Now, we have about 1.5 inches on there, and that's more than enough for a good fitting. Now, we're going to keep this spinning while pushing in a little bit, and that'll help it push a little bit farther on there. You want to cool this spot right here with a bit of a wet rag or a spritz bottle, but not this part, because you cool this will be shrinking on the other pipe, and it's going to weld itself onto here, and you don't want that to happen because it's a real pain to get it off. But you need to cool this part because this is going to twist with the pipe and not give it the strength it needs to twist against. Now you make sure it's straight, it's a little bit crooked, by looking down it, rotating a little bit, pretty good. And then take your rag and just wipe right around the back part here, not around this part. And that'll almost instantly cool this part enough so that it won't twist anymore. And then just keep this piece here moving. Wet a little bit more if you need to. Keep this piece here moving and then pull it out. Now you pull it out, it's going to shrink back up like that. So you got to shove it back in again. Now that you have it loose in here, now you can wet it and cool it. And that'll make this so next time you pull it out, it won't shrink as much. Shove it back in one more time. And now slowly pull it out this way. And now you have a bell that's every bit as good as the one you would have bought from the factory, the one that would have come on the 20-foot piece of pipe that you bought. This is every bit as good as that. You can clean this and glue it onto your pipe. It'll hold pressure. It's every bit as good. Now, why would you want to do that when you could simply go into a hardware store and buy one for 20 cents? Well, first of all, you may not have a hardware store next door that you can go and get. When you do this, you can make it home. 5 minutes, you've got a new coupling. Second, this is better than a coupling you would buy at the hardware store because it only has one joint, this one up here. This down here is actually a part of this piece of pipe, so there's a lot less chance of it leaking or pulling apart if you have it going around the bend or anything. Third, this pipe is not very expensive, but if you're doing this on 4-inch pipe, those couplings can get pretty expensive. And this system works just as well working with 4-inch pipe or specialized pipes like ABS or CPVC as they do on the regular 1-inch PVC pipe. It goes a lot faster if you're working on thin wall than it does on thick wall, so if you're using Schedule 20 pipe, it goes even faster. It's a very cool system. Now, you can use this same type of trick to make couplings and elbows and fittings bells and caps, all sorts of things, reducers, adapters, all sorts of things, and you'll learn how to do all that on the video available at our website, howwedostuff.com. But there's one more cool thing that you're going to learn how to do in that video that I'm going to show you a little bit about here. I can't show you all the details because it takes too much time, but we can recycle used PVC fittings. Now, most people say that you can't do this, that once they've been glued, they're done. That's not true. I've been doing this for about 10 years, and I've had glued fittings that were glued. I removed the glued part, glued them again, removed the glued part, glued them again, 3 or 4 times, and they're still holding pressure to this day. So it can be done. It's actually not that difficult to do. So here we have a regular PVC fitting, a cap, that's been broken off on top. Now this one's been cut off smooth, but this obviously is way too close for you to be able to glue onto it again. So basically this PVC fitting goes in the trash if you're a regular plumber. However, we can take this out of here, re-glue it, and it'll be as good as new on any other fitting. So if you have an access to a plumber who can give you old PVC fittings that they're going to throw away, you can never have to buy a PVC fitting again. Now the method is simple. You just take a heat gun and get it warm. You're probably going to want to wear gloves for this because it can get kind of hot on your fingers. Basically, you need to make the entire thing soft, both the inside of the pipe and the outside of the pipe. And this will take a minute. Okay, now you take a screwdriver, push it in on the edge anywhere around there, push the inside piece in, and then kind of wedge it in like that, and pull it up. And if you're lucky, you can take it out with just a screwdriver alone just by twisting, like this. This doesn't always work. This time it's not going to, because the inside pipe is just too old. This has been glued for probably 5-10 years. Take some needle points, grab it in like this, pop it out. Now, there are no scars in there. It's perfectly smooth, and make sure it stays the right shape. Just take your piece of 4-inch pipe you had earlier, push around it to make sure it stays round, and then use your rag to cool it down. Now, once this cools, this can be glued, cleaned first, of course, and then glued, and this will hold pressure just as good as it did the first time if you did this right. And you can recycle these as many times as you need to. Now, again, why would you want to do this for such a cheap fitting when you can just go to the hardware store and buy it for 50 cents? Well, all the earlier reasons apply, plus this fitting may be cheap. This one costs $7, and it works just as well for this one as it does for this one. This fitting costs $5. A 1-inch might cost $10, 2-inch might cost $25. Any of them can be saved exact same method as this. Now, there's more details to it than that I could show you, but I don't have the time right now. So if you buy the video, you'll learn all the ins and outs of how to do it, what not to do, as well as how to make all sorts of fittings, which you'll see in the next clip. This video will save you easily the price of the video in just a few weeks if you make very many PVC fittings with it. It's really easy to learn, it's really easy to do, and it'll save you a lot of money, and you're recycling used fittings that would otherwise wind up in the landfill, and you're going to use them again and save their money and save the environment. Did you ever notice how those pieces of pipe that come from the store have those nice little bells on the end? Do you ever wish you could make those yourself? Well, this video is going to show you how. You can make bells that are as good or better than the ones that you buy in the store that will replace ever having to buy another coupling again. You can make L's. You can make little L's. You can make sweep L's that go longer. You can make caps. You can make threaded adapters, male and female. And we teach you how to recycle PVC fittings, so you never have to buy a PVC fitting again. You can get these used from plumbers who've torn them out of walls or floors or wherever. Take out the inside pieces that were glued to there, recycle them, and you have a brand new piece. This was glued together to this, just like this. We got them apart, and we used them. This expensive fitting here might cost you $50 if you went to buy it. We took out pieces out of the inside of here, off the outside of here, pieces that were broken off so close you couldn't possibly glue to them, and we salvaged them. We're going to teach you how to do that on this video. You can work with any size pipe, 4-inch thick wall, thin wall, 3-inch, 2-inch, 1-inch, anything you want to work with. You can adapt from 1-inch to 1/2 inch to 3/4, anywhere up in between. You can adapt from all different sizes of pipe. Basically, almost never have to buy another PVC fitting again. And if you get used pieces from a plumber, you never will have to buy a PVC fitting again because you can salvage every single one of them. All you need is a heat gun and a little bit of time, and you can make all of these pieces and a whole lot more. Check out the video at howwedostuff.com and learn how we do stuff.